We are live here today on Wisdom Radio. Like to see, let me check out the link. Oh, yeah. I wanted to throw it in there for anybody. Like to thank everybody who's here, man. Jamal, what's up, brother? Chris Penn, man. Good to see you, man, as always. It's definitely, man. This is a new, I wanted to do this because, I had it waiting and it is part of the zombie, but it's like I've been up and down, back and forth with my health. So I just been I said, let me put this out there before. So at least it's out there, you know. But I'd like to look at some of uh some of these words that I have here. Let me see, I think this is Jamal.
Hey
Jamal, what's
MD, what's up, man?
up? Oh, same old stuff, man. How's everything?
It's going good. It's always a pleasure to be on these streams right now. I'm currently in Korea too. It's 1:30 a.m. here, and I'm just up. And I noticed that the stream tonight. I was like, whoa, oh, okay, So
Yeah. I did this stream purposely for the guys over in the UK and in Germany and Spain and other countries, Denmark, that watch the stream, and KB, who's in South Africa. You know, the time zone. I figure if I do this now, it's probably like around 6:30 over there, 7, maybe 5 o'clock for some of them, and we can it'll have both audiences be able to see it. And then I might do one tonight for the guys on the East Coast here in New York and California, because 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night here is 7 p.m. in Cali. So right now it's kind of early, but they could still check it out because it's like 9:30 a.m. I think in California right now. So yeah, man, yeah, it really, definitely Chris, man, because I know he's over in the UK, a couple other guys, and the fact that they come and they check it late at night too, man. It just, yeah, I was like, I got to definitely do one in the daytime. And once Zombie Book comes out, I'll, which this is, part of what I mentioned in the book. This is having the vision. So when you have the vision to look through something like this, like when I was finding this years ago and putting it together, I said, man, this is deep. This is like some subliminal uh programming that can go both ways. Like, I wrote in the intro about how English, it's like a language, like a living language created by like spellcasters. Because if you look at this, a conspiracy theorist, right? And I color coded it so people could see and easily decipher the spell within the anagram. So is, of course, is color coded in the white letters. Another is in the yellow. Scary is in the red, and topic is in the green. So anybody can look at this and say, wow, I can see that easily. Why would a conspiracy theorist be, why would that be there? How is this? It's one thing to have words that are irrelevant, that you say, okay, say something like, I ride in a green boat. If it would have made up those words, that doesn't really, unless there's a conspiracy theorist in a green boat. But you'd say, I don't see how, I own a boat, or I'm walking to the store, and you say, oh wow, that's spelled, that those letters are the same letters that make up this word. But they don't. The letters that make up these words that form the phrases, they actually relate to this. So it's like, I wrote in the book that, is it basically like trying to warn a person not to entertain a conspiracy theorist? Sort of like, I'm thinking, how is this possible that this anagram, every letter, like Delta, Omicron for the jab, right? What they were pushing, the two types, it spells to media control. Exactly. And I'm saying that is not a coincidence. Every letter matches.
Oh yeah, that's definitely not a coincidence.
Right? Right. So when I bring it back to this one, I'm saying to myself, English is the language. And, I only speak English. I know a little bit of many other languages, but English is, of course, the primary. And I love English. I love learning. I love, but I don't know much about my own language. The people in the UK, my aunts and uncles, they speak proper English. We speak, of course, a sort of a slang with different dialects going up and down the coast and across. So when I look at this and I say, wait a second, okay, so is this subliminally telling somebody, hey, hey, Anakin Skywalker, man, hey, it's a pleasure, brother, and thank you for the support. He says, thank you for doing a stream for us overseas. Hey, man, it's a pleasure. You guys, man, I appreciate the support, and I want to show you, you know, bring, send it back to you, send the caring, and to say, hey, man, I appreciate the support by doing these streams. I want to do one at lunchtime, maybe during the week, and also a few nights during the week, because it'll be able to, the guys on the West Coast over here can listen to it too. But the main thing also is everybody gets to check it out, man. I appreciate that. Anakin Skywalker, the name is, you guys is definitely on, man. And Chris Penman, thank you, brother. Yeah, I hope KB and other guys over there see it. I know I did it impromptu at like an hour before. I wasn't feeling too well. I've been having a little bit of with the breathing. It's been raining a lot here, and I think I might have, the long. I don't want to say the word for the corona thing. I think it affects me here and there. Sometimes it feels like kind of. I think they call it a labored breathing. Thank you, Chris, for the support, though, brother. I will continue. You, Anakin, yourself, Black Circle, and the other guys. I wrote him that yes, I will be making shows at different times for everyone. To say, okay, I'll be live at this time. Jamal, did you have anything?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to mention how like it's everyone from around the entire world that be listening to these streams, receiving the knowledge of the black pill. I mean, this isn't just like a stream for the people in the US and everything like that. Like I'm happy that there's people overseas. In fact, there's probably more people overseas listening than there are people in the United States. So I mean, obviously with these two like super chats, people are in like support of this. So if we can have like these, if we can have more streams like catered more for the people overseas, around their timing, I think that'd be like a good thing.
Yeah, because we can still, those of us on the East Coast here in America, and also even Central Time, because we have the 4 time zones, Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific. And from each to the other, you'll have an hour of difference, and then across the seas, you'll have a 5, 6, 7 hour difference, going closer to where Azarun is. I think it's like a 10 hour. It's a little easier for him, because if we're doing a show at 12, well, right now this would be hard for him because it'd be 12 at night, but our regular shows, he can catch pretty good. And oh yes, I put the link here. I'll put it again, Chris. I put it a couple of comments up. I think this is the StreamYard link. Yeah, if you want to hop on, man. I noticed your comment of where is it? Criminal Subliminal, I think it was. I saw it earlier. Yeah, Subliminal Criminal. I was looking at that. If you want to hop on, explain it. I'll write it down and everything to see, because there's so much with English that we're learning. When I look at stuff like this, this is not a coincidence. This is definitely not a coincidence. It just, you think about that, like, wait a second, what's going on here? Delta Omicron exactly spells media control. It's like, what is? It's like, what? This is fascinating at this point. I had put it. Let me see if I can upload this other one where I had with I had it with because in the book I have it as a long, a linear. I don't know if this, I'll have to adjust it somehow. Oh, perfect. No, no. Oh, all right. Yeah, this is now conspiracy. This one was conspiracy theorist, right? It perfectly translates into is another scary topic. Would somebody be afraid of that person? You know, oh, I don't want to talk about another scary topic without even knowing it when they broadcast this on the media. Then conspiracy theories, I notice, do other things. Oh yeah, and Lieutenant Trans, man, hey, what's up, brother? Thank you for the support, man. He says stuck doing 24-hour staff duty in Korea right now. It's 1:42 a.m. here right now. Glad to be able to catch this stream while sitting. This is great, man. It's amazing. I remember pulling CQ duty, man, to 24 hours, and then you get the next day off. Yeah, but that 24-hour, man, that's a tough shift. It is, man. Glad. Thank you for the support, and glad to see you here, man. I'm glad we can make the shift go by a little quicker, man. Definitely. Yeah. And Black Circle, yeah, I wrote you to let you know, because I know you're overseas there and, about 6-7 hours ahead of us. So it's like, yeah, man, I did this. I said, I got to do this for the guys overseas and, guys on the East Coast. Of course, it's lunchtime over here. Yeah, man, thank you guys. I appreciate it. And this one, I wanted to, look at some of these because this, of course, is saying, wait a second, when they say, oh, a conspiracy theorist, that's now that we know the spell, we can say, well, we already know. We're not going to look at it as another scary topic. But most people that dismiss it, which we know the majority do, could this subliminal spell be getting to them? Because we don't only see it in a conspiracy theorist. We see it when you change a few letters, it alters the spell. And it's still in line with something that can be related to don't listen to a conspiracy theorist or conspiracy theories. The top one, every letter matches. I color coded it like this for the book so people could see it. Just like, when I did with Delta Omicron and stuff, so people can easily decipher the spell. And they said, wait a minute, so is that a hypocrite scenarios? And of course, if you put the S up from the bottom of scenarios to the back of hypocrite, it could be hypocrites scenario or hypocrite scenarios. So again, telling somebody, I don't listen to the hypocrite scenarios. And below it, conspiracy, also the same word, the same phrase translates in an anagram form to creepy sir in cahoots. So saying, wait, is this the creepy sir in cahoots with the conspiracy theories? Is he a hypocrite scenario? Is another scary topic? This is way beyond coincidence, man. This is secret words. That's why I labeled the book Secret Words. This is basically the spellcaster's language to keep people subliminally under control. But if they know, they might be able to see through the illusion, to say, wait a minute, we already knew, because our mental shields and vision, which I mentioned, and I'm putting it together with the zombie book, the first 2 chapters, it lets us know. But other people don't know. Chris, what's up, bro? Good to see you, man. Cerebrus.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, man. It's a pleasure. Good evening to you, right? Over there?
Yeah, so I've just got 5:30.
Okay, cool, man. When you were saying subliminal criminal, is that also like one of these words here? Like, is it close to or
I think it was it a band or something from years ago, from back in the 80s or 90s? There was an actual band.
Yeah, okay. Yes. All right. I see what you're saying. All right. Yeah, and it rhymes perfectly. Subliminal criminal. I mean, it really. Yeah. No, I will look into that and do an anagram where of course, these are anagrams here, where we just switch around the letters. And I mentioned in the book that letters, right? Words, it's called spelling words for a reason. And what allows a word to be spelled? A letter. It lets the word be spelled. This is, it's not another coincidence that it's called a letter. So who lets you in? A letter. A letter lets you in. A letter spells the word of terms that make up a sentence. So that sentence, when we speak it, is like casting a spell that we don't know. When they Delta Omicron, when a conspiracy theorist, conspiracy theories. I found another one. I put it in chapter 6 of the book. This one is probably the most shocking. I had to go over this years ago and say, wait a minute, there's no way this actually matches up. And it matched up clearly. I was surprised when I checked every letter and saw that the phrase "a presidential candidate," it has every letter that makes the phrase "Satan decided a reptilian." Now, I'm not saying it.
Oh, jeez.
Isn't this right? This is not a coin. This is unbelievable.
This is insane.
Right? This is why I said, you know what? And good to see you, Brother Ali. This is why I said I have to release this book now. Because, just breathing, it's a little it's a little tough right now. But I said I got to do the show. I'm going to try to do one tonight. But yeah, when I saw this matchup, man, I checked it. I said, let me color code this to put it in the book to show people, like, look, this is something that's real. Grandmaster Yoda, man, thank you for the support, brother. He says 9/11, a national tragedy, emergency, 911 number for emergencies and tragedies. When you think 9/11, you think emergencies. It's on purpose. Man, you are so right. I had said that. I said, this is crazy. Thank you, Grandmaster Yoda. Thank you so much for the support and bringing this up, because this is so true. I said, there's no way that 9/11, that's the 911. And there was a girl a few years ago. She was, like 20. She was born around 9/11. And she said that she didn't know 911 was always the number for emergencies, like Grandmaster Yoda is saying. She goes, oh, did they make 911 the emergency number because of 9/11? And I was like, right? I said, yeah, she actually, yeah. And I was just like, wow. She just, she's young. She didn't know.
Oh, you can see why.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that has been the number for over 50 years, beyond whatever, in America for the police, they say dial 911. Matter of fact, they made a song about it. 911 was a joke in the 90s because people would call it and get put on hold and stuff like that. But when I saw the presidential one, a presidential candidate, I said, you gotta be kidding me. I said, this is like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But when we look deep into the spells, we start to see how, maybe it did make sense from the beginning. It could have been planned this way, yeah. If you have any thoughts on it, Chris or Jamal, or this is
this is all planned for sure. This is all planned for sure. And I mean, it's already been proven with the names. I mean, the whole Joseph Stalin, a guy who was known to stall, and he stalled World War II. Hitler, how they changed his name and made it Hitler, so it's more like memorable. Other names such as, what was this? There's like this big example. I forgot the name of the person, but you can see throughout history, like there's countless names that like surprisingly fits the person's personality exactly, which I mean, it's obvious that they're all that it's a bunch of like puppets and stuff like that that are put like that, but they put their name like that so that when you think of them, you think of what they did because of their names.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is by accident, is it?
Yeah, nothing, Chris.
I mean, come on, Edward Snowden, Bill Gates, like he's building gates around you.
Yeah,
this is just. I mean, this stuff is it's so obvious. I mean, all of this is extremely obvious to me, and to any other Black pill or person. Like when they think of these names, they subconsciously think of like, hey, why are these names like this? You know, because who names? Because have you ever heard anyone named Bill Gates? No one names their child that.
Yeah.
No one.
Totally fabricated. You're right, and yeah, it really. This is a spellcaster agenda. Dirty Benny, good afternoon to you too, man. Good to see you. I put this out and I said, this book has to reach the public in case anything happens. At least this one is out there. I'm going to leave the manuscript for the zombie book as I'm working on it. It's very close to being done, but I've done a lot of artwork that goes way beyond even these basic, letter color coded. But yeah, it takes a lot of research and stuff. That's why it's been taking a little longer, and having to recover from episodes. Just trying to stay healthy. But as we see that this translates to a presidential candidate subliminally, for those who can see through the spell, Satan decided a reptilian. I said, this is crazy. And we know from this one, president, the word is an anagram for is pretend. So that's, I color coded it. Right? There's right. This is why I said, man, it just unbelievable, right? Every letter matches up. I color coded it. This is the picture from the book, actually. All of these pictures that I put in here, the Delta Omicron one looks like this. It fills a whole page, and I have commentary on the top and the bottom. The Delta Omicron, I have something. Let me see if I can find that one too, because I thought that was it, but that was the other one.
Sorry. So does the subconscious mind get it anyway?
Yes.
So you can translate it, but does the subconscious mind and the everyday person going about his business does it get it anyway?
I think they
subconsciously.
What I've noticed, and I mentioned, the subconscious definitely gets it, but it also has something to do with the way your mind is already thinking. If somebody is a staunch follower of the state and they see a conspiracy theorist, this will naturally come up to them subliminally, and it will penetrate what I call in the zombie book their mental shields, to where they'll say subliminally, this penetrates to the subconscious, and they'll say, this is another scary topic. I don't want to talk to a conspiracy theorist. But you and I, who have strong mental shields, or everybody that listens to this and other people we know in society, this will not affect us. Now we know some of it might be a scary topic. And like you said, Chris, it does penetrate in. All of it penetrates into the subconscious. Like, we knew the president is pretend. We knew there's somebody behind the scenes. He's a puppet. To see this translate, it confirms this suspicion. But I don't think the follower of the state is going to bounce off what I call the bullshit that accumulates on their mind. Jamal, did you have something?
Yeah, I mean, what you said is exactly it. I mean, we've been knowing all of this stuff, but what this is what this is supposed to do for an ordinary person or a zombie, pretty much in today's world, is it's supposed to somewhat control them without them realizing it, right? So if they see something like Delta Omicron, right, they don't they don't think about the media,
control,
but they subconsciously in their mind, it's somewhat like they don't realize it, but they also think of it. If you get what I mean.
Hey, so Jamal is insidious by nature.
Pretty much. I mean,
That's nasty.
Yes, very much. Dirty Benny says this is hypnosis. They use trance-inducing techniques to have the subject suspend their critical factor, and that is true. Those of us with strong mental shields, and this is why I'm working so hard. I mean, I write like 10, 12 hours a day to because editing is the bigger part of the writing. This book, I had to edit it and edit, and go over it and make sure every letter matches up to the color code, and then also be able to present it where it's above. You see president and is retend all in white letters. You wouldn't really put it together, but when you see
I didn't.
Right?
I didn't put it together.
But when you look below and see president is pretend with the blue and the yellow coding, it's easier to see, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And this is, this was the work that it took. It took a long time to, say, okay, let me check this picture. I think it's about, I think it's over 100 pictures that I put in the book. I put, these in there, Delta Omicron media control, that I actually put on a full page. That's this one here. Now, Omicron, and I give credit to Ashar, she was listening and she goes, hey, did you know Omicron is an anagram for the word moronic? And I was like, wow. And I thanked her. And she left a comment on Wisdom Radio, one of the streams recently. And I go, well, did you know, to pay back the favor, that Dr. Fauci on the bottom is an anagram for I see fraud? So we help each other see through the illusion, because I didn't see the Omicron one. And then Dr. Fauci, I guess, I showed her that one. I think I was the first person. And it's amazing that Dr. Fauci's name, the Dr. Fauci, how is that possible to where you can switch the letters and get I see fraud? And then Delta Omicron, the two variants, I looked, I said, there's got to be more. Now, Omicron, the moronic, now this is where Jamal and yourself asked the question about the subliminal. The smart ones, so the ones that have strong vision, because vision, mental vision, combined with mental shields, allow us to see through the illusion, but shield the stuff that they're trying to program us with. So we see that Omicron, we might get the sense subliminally, might not have noticed it, but we knew that it was moronic, that, okay, yeah, you can get sick and all of this stuff, but this is moronic at this point. They went from Delta, they went to this, they're scaring people. It definitely exists, but not on the, the level that they're saying. I had a battle with it. I didn't, I tried to heal naturally, and I didn't go for the thing that they were giving people, which probably would have, a lot of people didn't make it after taking that. And again, the censorship factor that we're conditioned already to be careful how we speak about it. So it's already 1984, George Orwell. But then, so now Omicron, and I should have put this now that I'm thinking about it. So that's why I'm glad having these shows and these talks. Omicron, we might have saw subliminally Omicron does, it doesn't by itself translate to control, because it doesn't have the L, right? So when I look at the bottom one and I start to say, okay, it doesn't have the L and the T. So that's what's good about the middle. I have, okay, you see it as Delta Omicron, the spell is revealed as media control, but you still can't make it. But then below that in green and yellow, I put, okay, you need these two together to get the word media control, the phrase, basically, the two-word phrase. And then, of course, Dr. Fauci, and they're all linked together. Omicron, Delta Omicron, Dr. Fauci. So and then who pushes the authority is the pretend puppet. The president is pretend, and it just,
I like them.
Right?
I like them.
I started, they just, And this is the crazy thing. I mentioned in the book that, of course, a conspiracy theorist or Delta Omicron, we see as media control, and conspiracy theorist is another scary topic. But I also looked into. I have a chapter. The chapters are it's 7 chapters. It's basically because it's readable. But I have conspiracy. I have politics. I have religion. I have I have in politics. I looked through a word and I said, okay, David Icke and other guys, like not to say that everything they're saying is correct, but I remember he used to, and others, they used to talk about the Trilateral Commission. And when I took the word Trilateral Commission, it is no coincidence that this translates to I'm a costlier mortal sin. Now, right? It just are they? And what does the Trilateral Commission do? They are a costlier mortal sin. Now, costlier is like the worst, is the most costly thing that can cost the government. What they do. So the fact that we have these linking together to say, okay, we have a pretend puppet that is pushing in an agenda to tell you don't listen to conspiracy theories. We heard George Bush saying that the whole time. Look at how George Bush and what was his name, the prime minister at the time, Tony
Blair.
Tony Blair, yes. I mean, he was just
psycho. He's a psycho.
Full-blown psycho. Yes, full-blown. You're absolutely right. And then the Trilateral Commission, they protect these guys. And I'm saying there's no way. How does this make this up? And that's when I had to accept the reality. I had to accept the reality that this is real. This is the truth. This is the subliminal. Now, this subliminal is letting us know what they are. And we might know it without knowing it and been like, oh yeah, Trilateral Commission, I don't need to hear no more. I know, I looked into that. Come on, another bunch of controlling mongers. But then when we look into New World Order Illuminati translates to delirium and will warn riot. So delirium, right? And now that's a mental disease when it gets to very serious levels, and then you die within 6 months, which could cause it erodes the will of the people away. Will warn to warn the will to erode it and bring in riots, and the fact that this and not New World Order alone won't do it, Illuminati won't do it. So this is where the research and everything, had to be done to put it all together within a book to say, hey, you know what? This has to be put together so people can see these different forms of mind control that's being thrown at us. Like Dirty Benny had said, it's a type of hypnosis. It's a trance-inducing technique. Yeah, man. I wanted to bring this stuff up, to say, hey, you know what, if you have any thoughts on it, or, it literally is almost unbelievable, right?
I mean, this is insane. I mean, I'm just shocked right now because what you just exposed, I never knew about. Because I knew my whole life that there was all these hidden messages and such. But I mean, president, all this stuff. I mean, this is insane. This is like it's so in your face, but you just don't realize it. That's the thing. Like if you're a zombie, you're not gonna realize any of these things, none of these. And then if you try to tell this to other zombies, they're gonna say, "Oh, it's just like a coincidence." That's all they're gonna say. No matter what, every single thing, it's nothing to them.
Oh, if you try to tell us to another zombie, they're gonna say is another scary topic. That this subliminal gets through to them. They're gonna say a conspiracy theorist is another scary topic. I don't want to have another scary topic, but we're brave. Our minds, we're very strong in dealing with this. Sometimes we'll say, look, we don't want to talk about it, but we know what's going on. So we don't have to like stand on a soapbox and scream it to people. We already know that's not going to get us anywhere. We have to find the other people, the other survivors that I mentioned in the zombie book. This is why I put this out, to be a predecessor to kind of prep people, but also provide them with something, like you said, that they didn't know, to say, wow, now I understand how to use my vision. And then once the zombie book is out, I could see the mental shields, I could see the zombie spectrum, and how MD saw, and charted this over. It was since 2006 I was working on the zombie book and doing research like this on all of these things. And then finally I said, you know what? I got to put this out in pieces to show people. Now, this is the entire language. When you look at the weather, right? You look at the weather report, basically for the main thing that you would look for, barring a catastrophe like, a hurricane or something, or a tornado, you look for whether it's going to rain or not, right? So that's the main reason, even though we know the weatherman can be wrong and has. So when I looked into this, weather forecasting translates to rain facts. There we go. I color coded it underneath so people can check every letter and make sure that every letter is correct, to say, oh, wait a minute, this guy did his research. I researched, and to say it is. This is in the first beginning of the book. I write, it is called spelling for a reason. It's called spelling for a reason. Dirty Benny, thank you for the support, brother. I appreciate it, man. He said, witchcraft and spells are pervasive in this realm. And you're absolutely right, man. I write, you can read the intro, and thank you for the support, Dirty Benny, and the input with when you brought up witchcraft, right? In the intro, anybody can read it on Amazon for free. The intro, and you can see a couple of the pictures that begin it. I mentioned that wizards, warlocks, and witches do not seem as unreal as they told us to be. They might not be the person casting a spell with fiery things coming out of their hand, but English is the language of the spellcaster. I said it reminds me of the J.R.R. Tolkien book, Lord of the Rings, one ring to rule them all. And I mentioned in the intro that you can go to any place on this planet and find somebody that speaks English. And for me, it's like, yeah, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, totally, man. And I, being that I only speak English, I'm like, thank you, thank goodness. Somebody speaks English. I can, when I went to South America and other countries. Grandmaster Yoda, thank you, brother, for the support. He says Neil deGrasse Tyson name can spell redesignates. What? Oh, thank you. Is it the whole name? It can spell redesignate. So now is that including Tyson? I'm not sure, because I don't see the Y in redesignates, but I'm gonna check.
I think it's talking about the first two names.
Oh, Neil Tyson.
Yeah. Oh no.
Tyson because of the T, because the Y isn't in designates, right? Yeah. Well, now this is another thing too, because if I look through Neil deGrasse's, is it deGrasse's Tyson or deGrasse? So we'd have to check this. But Grandmaster Yoda, man, thank you for the input and the support, man. I appreciate that. This is it means to give a different official story, name, or title. Basically means twisting and lying. Wow. Yeah, redesignates. Yeah, and I'm gonna look into that pretty deep, because the anagram, you can't have an extra letter, you can't add a letter, so it has to be exactly. But man, I'm so glad with the show. People can share stuff the way that Ashar shared Omicron with me. Where's that? Okay, over here. And I want to say Omicron can spell control, but it can't without Delta Omicron, because you need that L and you need that T. So, but she's right. The moronic and Omicron, and how you bringing in Neil deGrasse Tyson, I got to look into that. Thank you so much.
He's a major piece of shit. I hate that.
Oh yeah. Tyson, yeah, he is a gatekeeper. He is a total gatekeeper. Yeah, he is keeping the people. Yeah.
He knows absolutely nothing about what he's talking about. He's a complete fraud, but people keep on listening to him.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just hear him speak, and he never answers the questions that he's given. He's an obvious complete puppet, and people just treat him as if he knows everything.
Yeah. Now, and he's an actor. He's not even really. He tries to say, "Oh, he's a scientist." Okay, yeah, you went to college, whatever. That doesn't make you somebody that is an authority, basically. And even authority is an illusion when you look at that. It's like, wait a second, what if you have the right to lead or to help people, it's one thing, because now you're going to give sacrifice. But to just say that we should listen to somebody because they've been elected, yeah. And I've thought about this too. Bangkok, right? About the sex capital. I've always thought, I said, man, what are you going to bang? You're going to Bangkok, to bang your cock, or the guys who aren't straight are going to Bangkok as well, and the other
Definitely.
Right?
He also has a lot of lady boys too.
Bangkok lady boys, definitely.
Yeah, totally. Holy smokes, Dirty Benny is bringing it up. And I did know about the Caduceus symbol. We will get into that, in picture. Those are subliminal pictures, Jimmy. It definitely, it just, Scribe just wrote me. I just, okay, I had a picture. Okay, the media. So I have the media, the conspiracy category, the media. So it's conspiracy, media, politics, religion, because in religion, I put the most profound one I ever found, which is this. I mean, I was like, what the holies? I pondered this over and over to be like, wait a second. The English is trying to tell me something. It's definitely trying to tell me something subliminally. I think the words or something not in this realm is communicating with us. Maybe the letters are alive. Everett Overton, thank you, brother. Congratulations on your new book and best wishes on the upcoming Zombie channel. Thank you, Everett, man. I've seen, I think this is EEO. I really appreciate the support. I have the link pinned. I'll throw it in again, brother, if you want to hop on. I always appreciate the support, man. I'm looking to bridge friendships with people. And, thank you, brother. I really, and thank you for the best wishes on the upcoming Zombie channel. I was going to switch this channel today to it. Scribe actually just wrote me on Skype saying, hey, man, I thought you were going to change the name. And I told him very soon. I wanted to, release the book first, Secret Words. But Everett Overton, man, I thank you much for the support. And, if you ever want to jump on this or Smash TV with Scribe, because I was going to change, I told Scribe, well, you're the host of that, I'm the host of this, which will be Zombie Channel or Zombie Nation, or, I was thinking, I might match it with the book's name, which I'm still kind of debating. But Everett Overton, man, thank you, brother, for the support and the best wishes. And thank you for the input as well. This is, I want to bring this in too, because this is another one that I got from the media is, aren't they, isn't Russell Brand bawling slander? Now, I have relatives from England. So they used to say, what you bawling about? Bawl, like bawl to scream to, right? And Cerebrus, you've heard that, of course.
Yeah.
America, it's not really as pushed. We have a little bit of different lingo here. But Grandmaster Yoda, thank you, brother, for the support. He says they used subliminal messages in the 1900s to influence racism. Blacklisted, black ice, black book, whitelisted. Yes, exactly, man. These subliminals are in there. Instead of saying something different, like, why would they associate evil with black and goodness with white? And, this was a subliminal suggestion that went into the mind, like how Jamal and Cerebrus was saying, these are subliminals, and they hit us whether we know it or not. And oh yeah, Dallas looks max at Black Bull too. That's exactly true. Exactly. And thank you, Grandmaster Yoda. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the input, because we need a whole list of those. I should exit. Yeah, I need to collect that, because these three were. Yes, you're absolutely right, man. Absolutely. Dallas looks maxer. Thank you, bro. Says shout out MD. Interesting stuff. I'm more into the BP knowledge on the laughs or smash, but I can see how this contest is interesting. Thank you, man. I know Scribe always. I mean, he did a show because I did say I was going to change the name, and that's why, I said, hey, if you want to do one last show, it's Wisdom Radio. And I just got so caught up. I was having a little bit of the wheezing. I'm still kind of not at my full strength right now, but I said, I got to do this. I want to do this too. It's more than just got to, it's want to. And I'm so glad with the support and the input that everybody's giving for this, man. Black Bald is exactly another one that they tried to put for people, and Grandmaster Yoda dropped it with blacklisted, black eyes, black. But it's so true, man. It's the subliminal from the 1900s, and even before. I have to find some pictures of. I think it was from the late 1800s. It was advertisements on not to take the jab. Now, this is the weirdest thing. How Cerebrus was saying, and Jamal was saying about Bill Gates, right? There is some history on his father dealing with jabs back during I don't know if it was the Spanish flu in the early 1900s or the cholera epidemic, because it came every 100 years. It was either cholera, Spanish flu, and then this one. And then even before that, there was another one. I forgot what it was called. But with the media, how is it that Russell Edward Brand, which is his real middle name, Russell Brand, is bawling slander rudely? So his name translates as Dr. Rude Bowles Slander. I'm like, what is English trying to tell me? What is the, it just, wow, I see what you wrote in the private chat, Cerebrus. Whoa, that's deep. That is deep. Yeah, I will definitely. Yeah, man. Wow. And I'm thank you for the private chat, because we know how YouTube. We never know. We could eliminate maybe one of the letters. And matter of fact, if you want, I could repost. Would you like me to repost it in the regular chat, and I'll change one of the letters on the last?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no problem. Don't want to get in trouble. That's all.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I really appreciate that. All right, I'll put a star, an asterisk for the word. Okay, so Chris, he brought this up. Cerebrus brought this up. A young girl went missing years ago from England, and he thinks it was in Spain. Her name was Maddie. An anagram of that is I'm, and as you see, D, I put the asterisk and then A, D. You know what it means. It's like something, I don't know if I should say spiritual or ethereal or otherworldly, is speaking to us through English, or does the English language have a life of its own? I wrote that in the intro, I think in the book or throughout the book, where, how does it tell us that Dr. Rude Bowles slander? And that's exactly what he's saying right now. And we already know he's part of the whole upper echelon there. So, he just probably didn't listen to what they were saying. And they said, okay, we're going to put you on the chopping block too. And his name, the anagram matches. So, it really, it has me wondering about that. It really has me wondering about that, where like how we said with the media, right? So we're saying, okay, the weather, we check the weather for rain. Weather forecasting translates to either rain facts, there we go, or if you just take the last part of the phrase and put it in front, there we go, rain facts. So, and this is clearly subliminal. Now, one of the prominent, or the most prominent newscasters in I think it was the 70s and the 80s. I don't know if he went into the 90s, was Walter Cronkite. Walter Cronkite's name translates to network recital. Isn't that some crazy shit? I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
It's like they're putting it right at our faces too.
Yeah. For those who can see through the illusion, for those who would take the time, and, this is why I said, you know what, I got to do this, because we all have pieces to the puzzle that we help each other with. And, how Cerebrus just put in, the Maddie, her name, Maddie, and then it translates, she went missing, and it's like, holy smokes. Was that orchestrated? Her name, it brings up so much more questions, which is actually a good thing, to say we're learning. They do not want people to have these type of conversations. These type of conversations are forbidden, basically, and probably will go forward, where, like, I think it was Klaus, that guy Klaus, who's with the World Economic Forum. I think the World Economic Forum had tweeted, somebody sent me a screenshot, that to watch fake news is a hate crime. They're already trying to push these things as something to where somebody would look at it as 1984-ish, 1984-ish with television, right? Now, we've seen Westerns, and Westerns are violent. I don't think there's a Western movie. I used to watch them, like them, and, I don't watch TV anymore, but I do use the internet and watch stuff. But Westerns are violent, right? Television networks broadcast Westerns. So when I took the word television networks, it spells out perfectly, is violent Western okay? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable that it would spell that out. So it's broadcasting violent Westerns, and the subliminal that hits our minds is it okay? And we don't even know that passed through our mental shields and got us sitting there saying, yeah, it could be okay. And we're not saying don't watch it. It just, the other thing is, these things translates into more than one things, because this says, is violent Western okay? We can put, is Western violent okay? But is violent Western okay is probably this. I put it in that way because it's probably the most easiest way to get the message through. And it also translates to new violent stories. So, like, we knew it would be violent stories. Same phrase, television network, same exact letters, but the letters spell the words. So I call it that it respelled them into this fashion, and then it respelled them again into this again. Now, of course, not all phrases will do two. This is a double anagram phrase. New violent stories, is violent Western okay? And it is from the same television networks. Grandmaster Yoda, thank you for the support, brother. He says, if the government says conspiracy theory, then you know that theory is true. You are absolutely right. This is why I brought in the main one here with a conspiracy theorist. You're absolutely right, Grandmaster Yoda. That conspiracy's true, and they want us to be afraid of it. That you're so right. If the government says a conspiracy theorist, the subliminal, and thank you for the input on that. It just, that theory is true. And how many conspiracy theories have been proven to be true, right? We see that they want people to subliminally think it's a hypocrite scenario. It's a creepy sir in cahoots with the conspiracy theory. But like you said, Grandmaster Yoda, the government is saying that it's a conspiracy theory, then you know it's true. It's over a 90% chance of that. I would definitely, if not more. Yeah, conspiracy fact, of course. Conspiracy fact, not theory. I call it a conspiratorial reality when it comes to art. Grandmaster Yoda, thank you, brother.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, conspiratorial reality. I had thought about that years ago after the 9/11 thing. And I said, man, somebody called it a conspiracy realty. And then I said, he called it a real conspiracy. The guy that made the film In Plain Sight to expose, to expose the 9/11. And I haven't found that again. I that was back in the MySpace days, early YouTubes. Yeah. Grandmaster Yoda, thank you, brother, for the support. He says, do you know the subliminal message for 3? USA, FAA, FDA, FBI, CIA, FTC, WTC, DEA, ATF, FCC, DIA. I've heard of it, but I've heard of the magic of 3. You remember as we were kids, it was 3 is the magic number. Yes, it is, So 3, it does have a magic to it. The Trinity, but if you do know more about that, please let us. Yeah, this is wow.
It really is weird how the USA is like obsessed with the number 3. I will that's always been an interest of mine too. I mean, even the name USA, it's in 3 things. USA, it's in 3 separate things. It's like a trinity, and like every single government agency in the US is always abbreviated in 3 main letters, and there's definitely something with that for sure. I have nothing as of yet. I've been trying to find out what's up with the number 3, because the government here absolutely is obsessed with it. But I find it extremely interesting because even the name of the country, United States of America, it's in 3 main separate, little things. United States America. There's something definitely up with that.
Yes, it definitely is. Chris, did you have anything on that or anything?
Yeah, in England, we think, what is it? That the American movies are obsessed with JC. You've got John Coffey, you've got all these movies with the same letters, and it seems to be a lot of times it's JC throughout the history of movies.
And do you think that's referring to them pushing a religious agenda of JC?
Yeah. We always wondered about it. We've always wondered about it, yeah.
Yes, the Jesus Christ. They try to push it for that John Connor, JC.
Oh, yeah. Good one.
And to add into it, what is he doing? He's trying to save the world from an apocalypse, he's the savior, the JC. And it is very, very, you're absolutely right. Do they have anything else? Like, has anybody expanded on theories on this, or like, which movies do you know of with the JC?
I can't think right now. I've got a bit of brain fog today, but there's a lot of movies. If you go through the time of movies, especially the American ones, for some reason it's not English ones, just American, the JC is high prevalence.
Yes, it very is. Yeah, because the first one that came to mind, I've heard it before, was John Connor, because they try to play him out to be the savior for humanity. And Jamie MC, thank you, brother, for the support. He says, thank you for the early streams for us Eurocells, MD. Keep up the great work as always. It's much needed and greatly appreciated. Thank you, man. And you're greatly appreciated as well, man. Thank you for the support and thank you for the input, man. I appreciate that. I'm more than happy to do the stream today, specifically for you guys overseas, man, because all the support you guys have given. I said, this is a pleasure actually in doing it, and to come out with with this type of stuff, you know, to say, wow, okay, I feel like, you know, the research I put in was really good for this, to say, okay, this is going to help. And then we're all can add in, like how Chris is saying, okay, JC and John Connor, definitely. John Connor was the leader of the resistance, the savior, so to speak, you know, the salvation. What was Terminator, like the third movie or the fourth movie was called Terminator Salvation. Isn't that something? You know, so JC is sort of like a savior figure, salvation. And America is obsessed with that. It is totally obsessed with that. Matter of fact, you already see Walt Disney. Walt Disney depicts a lot of sexual stuff.
Oh, he does.
Yeah. Now, when I looked at
very dark character.
Very, right? Now, again, this is not a conspiracy because the letters add up. Walt Disney Pictures is the anagram for "we depict any lust, sir."
Jeez.
It adds up. Every letter matches perfectly. And this is what they do. So it's not to say that it's a company that didn't do that, because we can have a whole stream on Disney and his exploits and, you know, what he has done, you know, to push, you know, the
agenda. He was very dodgy character.
Yeah, very, very. Yeah, it just, you know, I put actually a lot of Disney in the book. I'm just looking for.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I found stuff with Disney that is just shocking. I'm looking through the files now.
But that's going back to the subliminal again, isn't it? Because didn't they add frames in of a sexual nature as well, didn't they?
Yep. In the movie, in the animated film, The Rescuers, they had a woman in the window, naked, as they were driving a car or something, and then they had like something with beads being put on the mouse's tail, in reference to certain type of sexual beads. And
yeah, there's a lot of information on that, isn't there?
Oh yeah, anybody could type in Walt Disney. You can type. I have a link that I saved. I have to look for it on email for further research about Walt Disney and Satanism. And
yes, definitely.
Of course, you know, Walt Disney with the sexualization, and Walt Disney Pictures, for it to line up and say this is amazing. For it to say, you know, Walt Disney Pictures, we depict any lust, sir, and that's the exact same letters. So it's like, again, it's definitely a subliminal, but of course they use Disneyland, right, to push their products. And when I looked at Walt Disney's Magical Kingdom, it exactly translates to giant ads welcoming my kids. This is just beyond coincidence.
It hurts in my head.
This amount of research is insane.
It's hurting my head.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And you know what? I put this together, Jamal and Chris. I have another book because I have the zombie book getting ready to be finished, you know. But as I was going through saying, okay, I'm basically just editing, saying, do I want to put the vision, which is what we're using right now to see, as the first chapter, or is it the mental shields? Because now that I can explain the concept, you guys can see it clearly. Our mental shields protect us from the media's bullshit, from the zombies in society when they try to implant us with something. But the vision allows us to see through the illusion. So those two devices, you know, are chapter 1 and 2. And I was deciding as I edited them, which one will come first? Do I combine it? And it does take that in the midst of having, because the vision allowed me to see through this illusion and see these, you know, a conspiracy theorist is another scary topic. Presidential candidate, Satan decided a reptilian. This was the most shocking one that I found. Shocking.
That is shocking.
Yeah, it's just, and then of course, Disneyland with the Satanism, a giant ads welcoming my kids. There's no way. There's just no way. And then we look at his pictures, and he's depicting any lust that they want. They put through these things, and then as we go through the others, the television, violent stories, is violent Western okay? As in the early days of television, that's all they showed on television was violent Westerns. John Wayne, it was constantly shooting somebody. It was always something about killing someone in a Western. So it definitely had that to it, to where it's like but as I looked, into like the where was it? The New World Order. Yeah, delirium and will-worn riot. And that's what it seems that they want. Or they're making the people go nuts with delirium, which leads to a will-worn, a wearing down of the will. And when the will is worn down with delirium, they want riots, because riots will lead to them coming in with the peacekeeper troops.
Yeah. Problem, reaction, solution. Yes, definitely.
Yes. Total. It's a total
Clever.
Mm-hmm.
Clever.
Yeah.
Very nasty. Very nasty. Clever.
Yeah. They using the figures, Walter Cronkite, to do his network recital, to say, hey, this is what's on the news today. Listen to me, this is what I'm going to be pushing for the average citizen, and I didn't look in. I need to look into that word as well, because I did a lot of research, or I've done a lot of research, but I definitely need to go into some of the deeper ones. Like we look at Russell Brand, the one with him bawling slander, right? So whether or not he did it, what he is doing is he's saying that it's slander, and he's yelling and screaming. He's bawling slander.
Oh, he's very he's very outspoken. He's very animated. He's very well. That's it. It's his nature. That is his nature.
Mm-hmm. And it's just shocking that this is what his name. It's as if something again is.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yeah, I had to check to say, okay, let me make sure, his name, because other people, we've talked about this in private years ago. And, I'm like, wow, his middle name is Edward Brand. So let me see what, comes of that. Right. And then I looked into other celebrity names that made hundreds of millions of dollars on wonderful trash. Right. And I looked into Howard Stern, and his name, the letters can be made to form Wonder Trash. It literally translates. And what did he sell? He'd have trash programs. He was raw, and he was honest in certain aspects. Some, of course, he lied. He promoted the jab and all of that. So total, turncoat with people, and just betraying, he wasn't, to anybody that pushes that agenda of the we're going to force you to take this medical thing, I would say be careful with them. Dr. Rude's, bull slander, but Stern also translates to Dr. Raw Honest, or Dr. Honest Raw, or Raw Dr. Honest, So with his, of course, they're going to mix in. It's just the way they mix sugar into something that is, like medicine. So he'll give a little raw honesty, brutal, but it is basically wonder trash. It's trash wonder, to say, how did this really improve my life by listening to Stern? What did he really teach me? There might have been a few things that, that he was honest about, but really, he was more behind the scenes, with them, like, when I look at these anagrams, and I think about it, like, Stern, One to Trash, and I think about New York City, right? Now, since I was a kid, New York City, Times Square, I remember waking up at home at night to watch Dick Clark in Times Square, right? With New York Rockin' Eve, right? I don't know if you've ever heard of that, or he's been passed. But they had a thing with Times Square, New York City, major, just like any major square of a metropolis. I think there was Leidseplein Square in Amsterdam when I was there, and Rembrandt Square was another one. I can't remember. I was too young to remember the ones in London. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we do have them in London. I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah, so there's squares. I know in New York they also have Union Square, Lincoln Square, but Times Square is definitely the most known, and that's the one they have the New Year's Rockin' Eve, right? So when I looked at Times Square, New York City, translates to "It quite rocks my New Year's," and I said, "This is not a coincidence." And they do call it New Year's. I thought, okay, could it have been New Year Eve? But no, it is years with an S. That every letter. And the fact that Dick Clark would always call it the Rockin' New Year's Eve. Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve. That's definitely what it was. Grandmaster Yoda, thank you, brother, for the support. He says, zombies automatically make their names from subliminals without even realizing. Myron named his channel Unplugged because it subconsciously sounds.
No.
Yes, exactly, man. QB Willie sounds like LGB. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, he does,
Wow, he's bringing it. Yoda, Grandmaster Yoda, you're bringing it to the next level with Willie, meaning a male's groin.
It is, yeah.
Shit, I didn't catch. Oh my goodness, that's
an English saying. It is an English.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Willie,
yes.
I mean,
wow. Yeah. And I thought QB. I would say there's something very queer about him. And
it is, yeah. QB is queer. Queer bastard.
Queer boy Willie.
Yeah.
Wow.
You fighter.
Oh, that's the
Grandmaster Yoda's dropping the bomb. I mean, this does show that. I feel like that people's subconscious, like even because we know QB Willie was trying to act straight, right? He wanted to put on a face, right? But he subconsciously gave himself that name because that's what he really was.
Yes, the zombie.
Definitely.
The zombie in him named himself QB Willie, just like a Willie, a main. Yes, exactly. The LGT, yep, the QB, and that is wow. That is definitely, the zombies will do that, and that's what I think they subconsciously do to most of the population to get them, like you say, Grandmaster Yoda, to get them to do it without even realizing it. So they automatically make their names from these subliminals, like Grandmaster Yoda says. Thank you, man. That input is just it's amazing, man. Wow. This is educational, man. This is educational, man. I'm so glad that, I said, let me prepare a good few pictures from the book, because there's over 100 pictures I think I put in there. Yeah, clearly over 100 pictures that, so I said, I'll share a good few of them on the stream, just to see, any input, or, to let people know also, like Jamal and yourself, Chris C, I put time and effort and years into this research and thought, and to say, okay, what exactly could this be? How did I come to an awakening? And that's where I said, well, the vision, I would see through things, and we all can see through things with our mental vision, and then say, hey, you know what? There's something really really weird about this. There's something there's something uh odd. Now, we all have spoken about the moon landings and stuff like that, and I will mention that in the second book of Secret Words, as in the zombie thing. But we've done streams about the moon, and I have a lot of research I did on that. And as I brought it into the spelled words, the secret words, so to say, I wanted to call it spelled words, but I think the book being called Secret Words was more applicable to what it actually is, because there's secret subliminal words, right? So I said, let me try Neil Armstrong, and I got the words strong liar man. And it just, it made me wonder. It really made me wonder. These things are just not by chance. They're just not by chance. Yeah, they really are not by chance. And I always thought that there was something very weird about Neil and the whole thing. It just basically believe them. Don't care what anybody else says. And till this day, it's like Grandmaster Yoda and a few others had said that when the government says it's a conspiracy, then that's the truth. Actually, it just
What I do notice though, MD, is that Neo itself means liar, right? And the two biggest lies about space is are you surprised? Neil Armstrong and Neil deGrasse Tyson. Those two are the two biggest lies in space about space. And the first name literally spells out liar to you right in your face. Liar. Liar.
Yes. So, and also Neil, the name Neil has a connotation with bowing down, kneeling. So like it's like kneeling, like kneel, to say, okay. Yeah, so it's like listen to this person, like kneel, either him being subservient or they're following. If you look at the moon landing following, they are subservient to these guys. They kneel down.
Very much so.
Yeah, and same thing with Neil deGrasse Tyson. They kneel. We made a joke years ago about Neil deGrasse. We said kneel on the grass, Tyson, because he's kneeling.
All right.
Yeah, and we just, I remember about 10 years ago, I was on a radio show.
That's good.
Yeah, the guy, he was so funny, man. This guy was a professional comic, and he made that up in an instant, and we were laughing. And I said, that's a good one, man. Kneel on the grass.
That is a good one.
Yeah, he really. But this, what Jamal says, is very. It's applicable to this. That Neil and the other Neil. It's like that. That's you got two Neils, and they're very well known. It's not like they're nobody. They're well.
They're known about space, and they're both known about space.
And yes. That's actually really, really wow. They're both So they're well known. And they're well known about the same subject. So that's actually, wow, that's a very, very good point. There's one that I wanted to bring up, especially doing, this and everybody overseas being able to hear this. Trying to see if I can find it. Oh, this is it. Now, this one is going to relate pretty deep to the men overseas in the UK, and especially over that whole area. This one I looked into and I said, this can't be true. When I was in Amsterdam, I remember meeting people from England and Ireland, and also when I was in London as a child. But this one right here, the Irish Republican Army translates into, "Yep, I can harm British rule." Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. This I can't even believe that this made it up like this. I'm like, amazing. Amazing. It just and it
Yeah,
matters.
never saw that. Never saw that.
It just,
But it was there. Yeah, it's there. It is there.
right? Every letter matches up perfectly.
Yeah, it's there. It's there. Good God.
And that's why I said, let me color code it so, you know, somebody can easily decipher it and to say, oh, okay, wow. It definitely adds up. I'm looking for, I had one more. Okay. Yeah, but this one is, yeah, this one just, it's very much saying something, you know, it's definitely saying something. Okay, this was the one. Now, all right, now that one, I couldn't find the other one I was looking for exactly. I'm just trying to see if, okay, that one there. All right, yeah. Jamal, if you had anything, or Chris, you can add it in.
I can't believe that. Can't believe that.
It's amazing, man. I think people.
It is. It's shocking.
Yes, yes, definitely. Years of research, man. I'm so glad.
That is that's made my mind real.
It just really thanks, man. I just, you know, and you know, I'm glad that people can look at the other ones too, like, you know, these other ones, and just say, wow, these really really can show things, you know. But this one here, alien spacecraft, and they try to bring a panic, a scare, a feeling, right? Alien spacecraft is a panic scare felt. It just, there is no trying to explain this stuff away. It's as real gets. To say, if somebody were to say that we were talking about a conspiracy theory, how is it theory when all we're doing is presenting the evidence of these words? Like saying, hey, you know what? These letters make up these letters. You know,
it's just so obviously hidden.
Yep. Obviously hidden. They say, where's the best place to hide something?
In plain sight. Yeah,
right?
Definitely. Yeah, in plain sight, definitely.
Yeah, totally. And I didn't. I mean, when I looked at the word president, I knew something was weird.
That is a belter. That is a belter.
Yep. He just
never saw that.
It just decades I didn't see, as a child, as a teen, in my 20s, and then as I,
they're all actors. They're all actors.
Yep. Every single one of them. Every single one of them is an actor, and you know, when you look at it from this aspect, you start to say, wait a second. You know, and we know the acting, right? The acting, you know, we think about like, oh, okay, you know, something doesn't seem right. You know, something doesn't seem right. EC says, MD, you should see the recent studies about the Oh, wow, I got to check this out. Whoa, yeah, I got to check this out. If you have a name to the video, please drop that, man. Grandmaster Yoda, thank you for the support, brother. He says, United States of America can be reorganized into castra meditations. The definition of the word means to lay out a military base. Holy smokes, just as the U.S. does everywhere in the world. U.S. has the most bases. Yes, I've heard that U.S. has over 180 bases out of 196 countries or something like that. Let me type that in, castra meditation. This is great. This is like, thank you so much, Master Yoda. Thank you, and thank you for the support, and thank you for adding this in there. Castra meditations. Making sure.
That's mind blowing.
Wow. Holy smokes. The making or laying out of a military camp. Grandmaster Yoda, you are on fire, man. This is like, you are an amazing. You are like just bringing it. You're bringing the reality, man. Wow. Wow. United States of America. This is, yeah, it just, there is, yeah, the Castro meditation. And that word, see, this is the thing where I seek to learn more about the language I speak and was born into. I didn't even know Castro meditations was a word until now. This is great. This is a learning experience, man. Thank you so much, Grandmaster Yoda. That is so real. And as we see, the president is pretend. It is pretend. It's pretending because civil, right? The word civil, like civilization, is to treat each other with respect and courtesy, right? Civil, to be civil, right? Civil society, right? But what do we see in a civil society, right? We don't see that courteous and respect and that, and we don't see that from the government. We might see it from another citizen, but when it comes to the state or to the religious ruler, it's sort of like an iron hand. It's sort of stoic and icy, cold, evil. So I said, let me look into civil society. And it translates to stoic, icy, evil. And of course, I had to put it in the right, I checked every letter to say, okay. And so, anybody that looks into the book can translate it very, very easy. Jamie MC, thank you for the support, brother. He says, MD, I'm from the Republic of Ireland, and to my English friends, the IRA one is a new one for us over here also. Unbelievable, MD.
It is. It is.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll put it up again. I thank you so much. I really appreciate that, man. I took a lot of time, like research, and I had to, sitting there, hours, making stuff out just to get one word. I so much appreciate that, Jamie MC. I appreciate that, and I'm thank you that I was able to bring this, and it's something new. Oh man, this the I put it. This is why I color coded it too, because to sit and look at the top and say, okay, the Irish Republican Army, yep, I can harm British rule. They might think, okay, I'm just making a statement after that. But actually, those same letters that spell the words on the first phrase, the Irish Republican Army, the letters let the spelling of the words be for the second phrase with the same exact letter. So when I coded it into the colors below, you can see that the I and the can, immediately you can see that in the back part of the Republican Army, the Irish Republican Army. And then the other letters like yep, harm, rule, and British is all there. It's all there, man. I'm so glad that you guys, this is great because you guys can show this, and say, hey, man, he did a lot of research in this. He produced it all.
You're not kidding.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Let them know. I put the link to the book in the description of the video. It's in the chat, but early on. But the link to this book, Secret Words, that I wrote and just published about 2 days ago, about a day ago, I think. It's in the chat. So anybody?
I didn't know that was you.
Oh yeah. This is. I'm going to be publishing this under
the pseudonym, my pen name.
Yeah. Well,
Don't blame you.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to use Sid Prince. I didn't know which one sounded better, Sydney Prince or Sid Prince. I still have an author name I can use on Amazon. They let you choose a few, so you can publish under different names. And
you see my basket? Yeah, I'll put it in the basket on Amazon.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
The link, I put it in the description. So if
going to give me nightmares.
I mean, there's a lot of other stuff in there. Remember, I have over 100 pictures. I might have showed about, 20 today. And this one, this is in there. This is definitely in the book. Yes, it's in the download. What will be in the download? These pictures with commentary, plus another 70 pictures are in there. I have it in print and in ebook. So yes, that's all in the download. Carpet Man, what's up? Street layout of DC's inverted. Yes, I definitely seen that, and yeah, they have cameras in them without a doubt. But yeah, the Irish Republican Army anagram is in the book. The Delta Omicron is in the book. Every one I showed here is in the book. This is why I put it at the bottom of this. Every letter matches. Secret Words, Sydney Prince on Amazon Books. And there's more. And there's more. So this is just touching the surface of it's just touching the surface.
But it makes you think. It makes you think. It's good.
Thank you so much, man. I'm so glad that because I wanted that, like Jamal always says too. He goes, just like MD says, you can only look for other survivors. We can only look for other survivors. Grandmaster Yoda, thank you, brother. He says you can spell out hurt from truth, safe from false. Yes, you have those letters in there without a doubt. The letters allow these spelling. And I said in the beginning of the book, it's called spelling for a reason. Because it's clearly, thank you, Grandmaster Yoda. Thank you, man. It's so real that and we know that we want to live in a civil society. But when I looked at it, I said, there's got to be something in there. The 2-word ones are easy for me because I can look at something like Grandmaster Yoda can look at stuff and see the letters in there. The bigger ones are what took me a little longer, is to look into it and say, okay, let me look at this and try to figure out what they're trying to tell me from, these subliminal messages. Are they trying to sway me, or are they trying to warn me? It's I had another one. I think it's
poisoning the mind.
Yeah. And the only thing that can protect the mind, and I'm leading this into the zombie book, is our ability to shield our mind, to shield the subconscious mind. It's very hard to shield something that we don't know about that's coming at us. But now that we know what to look for, we'll look at everything. We'll look for everything. We'll say, hey, you know what? I want to look, behind the scenes and see what they're trying to push on me. Like with the alien spacecraft, a panic scare, right? I felt a panic scare, right? And actually, that might be a better way to word this. A felt panic scare, or a panic scare felt. I felt that was better to get the point across, that these words translate to that. But they also try to train us to say, Area 51, fear a tiny foe. And what did they do with Area 51? They were trying to get us to fear a tiny foe.
Yeah.
Grandmaster Yoda, thank you, brother. He says spell in the name, like casting a spell. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It is casting a spell. We speak the language of a spell. We cast spells without even knowing it. Like how Grandmaster Yoda was saying, the zombies will cast the subliminal spell on themselves.
You have to be careful what you say to yourself, don't you?
Yes. I mentioned that in the book Spellcaster. Like if you check the on Amazon, once you go to, where is it? Once you go to this book on Amazon, it'll have the other book that I wrote years ago. Oh. Yeah, I wrote another one called Spellcaster, which I talked about the morning spell. I talked about the lesson. So if you go to learn a lesson, what does on mean? On means to turn on, a light switch on, to illuminate, right? So a less on would be less illumination. Why would they call a lesson that you're supposed to learn? Why would they call it a lesson, right?
Dumbing down the nation, yeah.
Yeah, so because you're getting less ons, you're not getting illuminated as much. And then the opposite, they call somebody who is not smart a moron. So, so you get, I looked at English, I learned this years ago, and I said, this is crazy. I put the lesson spell, and then if you spell lesson the way they spell it in American English, Lessen, lesson, like to lessen something, to not make it more, to make it less. And, I put in the spell of when somebody says to bless you, to bless you, to be less, to the spell of belief. I mentioned a few of those things in the book Spellcaster. It's a very, very short read, about 30 pages. And that's why I produced this book, which is, I think, close to 80. It's probably like 77 or something. And, because it has a lot of pictures in it and a lot of research I put into this one. Like the other one I put a lot of research in. I wrote that book in 2016. So it's been about 7 years since I wrote Spellcaster. They're both on the same author name in Amazon, Secret Words, Spellcasters. It's like Grandmaster Yoda was saying, it's basically, it's spelling, it's spell in the name. It spell is in the word of spelling. It clearly is, man. And
you're taught from school, though, aren't you? From the earliest infancy, you're taught the letters, and spelling is taught from the earliest time.
Yep, spelling
for a reason.
Yep.
But at least you're given as a fright, but you're also given as a solution, and that is valuable.
Thank you. Yeah, this is what we need to learn, to say, hey, you know what? These spellcasters that have us, if we don't know, unknowingly cast a spell on ourselves. Like in Spellcaster, the book, I put the morning spell. And, like newspapers will, I wanted to show this last one. Newspaper is, they reap, they spew and reap.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And I think it's so like in the words. And when I thought about the morning spell, what we do is, when we say a morning, what do you do at a morning? You wake at a morning. You mourn at a wake, basically, or you mourn at a funeral. And I noticed something was weird, because overseas in Latin, they all say good day. In Spanish, they say buenos dias, right? Good day. In French, they say bonjour, good day. In Italian, it's buongiorno. In Portuguese, it's bon dia. In that's the 4 Latin languages. There's 5 in Europe. The 5th one is Romanian. That's Latin. They say bună dimineața, good day. Now, when I look at the Slavic language, because the 3 main languages in Europe, which there are others, and including the UK, are English, which is a Germanic-based language, Anglo-Saxon English.
Yeah,
right. Latin. Now, Ireland definitely has a different dialect of. In Ireland has, I think, good morning was Zigazimagin, something like that. Like I knew a lady that spoke Gaelic, and so, but it's still like Welsh. I met 2 ladies from Welsh in Amsterdam. I couldn't make out a word. I asked, they spoke English and they spoke Welsh. I said, could you speak? So I'll see if I could figure it out. And they go, no, it's a different dialect. They spoke it. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Flemish can be understood by English speakers like us, the way Spanish can be understood a little bit by Italian. It's like, because they're both Latin based, some of it, not all. But when I looked at Germanic, Latin, and Slavic, those are the 3 big ones. And I think in Czech Republic, it was Dobre Rano, which is good early, like good day. It still wasn't a morning, right? Now,
Polish, Zen Jubilee in Polish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gene
Good
Dobry
morning.
is Polish, right?
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Gene Dobry is Polish. Dobre Utra is Russian. Hungarian and Finnish, those are from the Finno-Ugaric group, so those wouldn't be considered Euro languages. They're more Middle Asian.
Mm.
They're like very different. But when I think about mourning and it being associated with a funeral, mourning at a funeral, and people say, I wake. So why would we say wake is another funerary term? I wake in the morning. So do I mourn my own wake when I say I wake in the morning to go to my job, which job is supposed to be I think a Hebrew word for persecution. I still am looking into that.
I think it is.
Yeah, I've heard it from many, many people.
And the days and the week and stuff like that. Well,
and the weekdays, right? A week, not a strong day, a weekday. So going to work during the weekday, and what do you get? You get the weekend of the deal.
Yeah.
So those are spells that we cast on each other that I notice when we say good morning, because you do have it in Norwegian and Swedish. It's god morgen and god morgen in Sweden. It's guten morgen.
Good morgen, yeah.
Yeah, in German and goedemorgen in Dutch. And so you do have it, but the Dutch also have Guten Tag, good day, and Gosgat, was another like slang. English, and as we know, I wrote in the beginning intro of the book, English has spread across the planet and had people speak English to where their native language slowly disappeared, like in the book Brave New World.
Oh, yeah.
And they say, I think it was Face and LMS said that German, he goes, if you learn German, he goes, nobody really speaks German anymore except for the older German people. He goes, everybody there speaks English now. And the ones that speak German also speak English. And he said, this is slowly happening, and I've noticed this happening. We've seen it totally assimilate in America, all of the native peoples, the native nations. They might remember some of their language and teach classes, but their main language is English. And English is so powerful. I mean, it's like what Master Yoda put in the chat of the word that that United States made up. I mean, I was just like, that's a very deep castrametations. This one here, castrametations is I'm still learning. I'm not sure, but I think English is one of the largest languages too.
I think you're right.
Yeah, very, very, because we can
most dominant language on the planet.
Yeah, we take words from so many other cultures, like paprika, the spice is a Hungarian word, and there's many other words like that we've taken into that. And all people that speak English that know of the spice paprika, most of them don't know it's actually a Hungarian word, but now it's
a lot of English is from different languages. They've got French, Latin, also in the English language.
Yes.
Chair, table, table, they're all French. They're all French. Pigeon, they're all French words. Mm-hmm. And Latin's for the bones and for the animals and for the flowers and the trees. They're all Latin. Descriptive language. Then you've got the Anglo-Saxon for the swear words and the profanity and the whatever, and some German too.
You're right. No, you're absolutely right. German is in there. French, Pidgin. Yeah, Pidgin is clearly French. Grandmaster Yoda, thank you, brother, for the support, man. He says, shingles is a viral infection. If you rearrange shingles, you get English. Wow. Master Yoda's you are definitely rearranging the letters, allowing them to be spelled in some really that you're right. And just like a viral infection, I mean, I wouldn't say, I mean, English has when I was in South America by Brazil, across the border on Uruguay, they speak mostly Spanish. On the border of Brazil and Uruguay, Brazil speaks Portuguese, Uruguay and Argentina speak Spanish. But on the border, they speak a mixture called Portunhol, which is a mixture of Portuguese and Espanol, Spanish. And it's funny because we should call it Espanol because that's what the language is called. And Spain isn't called Spain. I think it's called España. So we have a way of renaming people and not caring about what they call themselves. We say, look, we'll call you this, and you'll call yourself this too. But Grandmaster Yoda, thank you, brother, for the support. And you're so right with that. Shingles. It is kind of infectious that how English look at Thailand, right? We say, okay, Bangkok, Thailand. Thailand used to be, you remember those cats they look like they have boots on? They're called Siamese cats.
Oh, yeah.
And they come from Siam. The kingdom of Siam used to be Thailand. And that's why they still call those cats Siamese cats, because they're from Siam. But there's no more Siam. It's called Thailand. Hungary is called Magyarország. So Magyarország, when you go there, they'll say, welcome to Hungary. If you look at Finland, that's Suomia. If you look at Norway is Norge. So we should be saying I'm traveling to Norge, or Svet. Svet is Sweden, Norge, Svet, and Suomia. That's Norway, Sweden, and Finland. Rasea. That's what they call Russia in some parts of Uzbekistan. I have a friend from there. We really, when we look at it, we start to see how English has not only assimilated, but changed the names of certain countries. I'm not sure if France is called Ferdinand. I think it's a different name too. I forgot what France was called. But if you go around like the whole map, you see that too. Like Iraq and Iran, I think were called different names as well. I think Iraq was what the British renamed that area. It's showing you the power of words, the secret words, and even the open words, the power of the spell, casting the letters, spelling these words. English is extremely powerful. I mean, I could go on and on. I just don't remember off the top of my head the many countries that have been changed and all of their original names, before they were changed. Like I know Saudi Arabia, that was the Persians. So Persia spread very far.
The English language, you're right. But did you know that also all the flags of all the nations of all the world have to come through London, England?
I didn't know that. Wow. That is really deep. I did not know that they have to go through England and be like officialized or something.
Yep.
Wow. I think that also where they don't they don't let like certain countries be called countries. I've noticed that. Yeah, you're right. It's probably because England is saying, look, you're not going to be recognized. And if they recognize you, now you're so-called legitimate. And that is kind of scary when you think about it. It is very, very scary. It really, Dirty Benny says, English is also devoid of gender, Latin, German, French. That's a good point.
Yes, that's true, actually. Yeah, it is.
Yes, they'll have the feminine and the masculine version. That used to, it was hard for me with that. And yes, Dirty Benny, you're right. Burma and Myanmar, you're absolutely right with that one. I forgot about that one, but I remember it now that you say it. Dallas says, English is officially a Germanic language. Germanic, English, Dutch, German, all very related. Yes, yes, Flemish too. We are about 40 to 50% German language, about 40% Latin, and about 10% Greek. So if it's 40, 40, and 10, say, and then the other 10 is conglomerate, little words and stuff, or maybe even just 5%. We could be 15% Greek, because there are a lot of words that we have do derive from them. They used to think, people would incorrectly think that it was a lot of Greek, but it's more Latin. And the majority, yeah, I would say German, like house. House in German is H-A-U-S, house. And in English, it's H-O-U-S-E, but we could still make it out if we were to, if we were to really look at it, we would say, okay, we can make out some things in German, even in French and certain Latin ones too, because we have Latin in our language as well. Dirty Benny says, grimoire is a book of magic spells. Grammar originates from this. Yes, that is very true. That is very true. I mentioned that on the back of the print book. I had put it in the description on there. You're absolutely right with that. The grimoire, the grammar of the language, the spell, the book of spells, the grimoire, the great grimoire. That is very, very true. Very true. Yeah, this is very educational, man. The newspapers spew and reap. We see that translates exactly. Area 51, fear a tiny foe, be afraid, stoic, the stoic icy evil. Civil society, stoic icy evil disguises as a civil society, because we see that in many things. Alien spacecraft, the scare felt. I'm so glad that you guys, like this one. This one was, this, I had a feeling and I saved it. I said, yeah. And these are all in the book. These are all in the book, within the 7 chapters of the book, the, conspiracy, the media, politics, religion. I put a few things in there about the military. Of course, we have the president, that's in the politic part of it. And right when I bridge in from politics to religion, this was the first one I put in there, because it is, to date, the most shocking anagram that I have revealed, man, to just say, wait a second. You look at this and you say, let me check all these letters and see if this is real. If every single letter, not an extra letter, not an added letter, everything matches perfect. It really has me wondering about the English language. Truly spells, man. But Chris, man, I thank you for being here, brother. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, this is great, Jamal.
Amazing knowledge. This is amazing. I mean, people in the chat, Grandmaster Yoda, UMD with these slides. I learned a lot more than I learned in a Smash TV stream. This is absolute knowledge right here. You will never get this knowledge anywhere else. That's what makes this extremely special, in my opinion.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much, man. And I got to thank Dirty Benny, man. Thank you for all your input, man. Dallas Looksmaxer, without a doubt, always putting it in. Jamie MC, brother, thank you so much. And I'm so glad that the anagram that I created, it definitely, brings, share it, let people, I'm so glad, man. Carpet Man, thank you. Of course, Grandmaster Yoda, always bringing the real. And, you brought so much knowledge to it, Grandmaster Yoda. I appreciate it so much, man. Jamie MC from, Ireland, beautiful. And you're right, man. The anagram it's shocking. I was like, this is amazing, man. This is amazing. Everett Overton, man, thank you for the support. And thank you for coming by and checking the stream, man. I really appreciate that. Chris Penman's on the stream with us. And we have Anakin Skywalker, Lieutenant Trans as well, man. I thank you so much, man. And KB was listening. Wow, no, that is cool. I did the timing, man. This was for all of you guys, man. This was for all of you guys. Thank you, Grandmaster Yoda. I'll talk to you guys soon, man. If I have enough energy, I'll try to stream again very soon. Everybody take care and have a great day.
Take care.